Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Let's Interview the finalists of the what I'm codenaming Ready Persona 1 tabletop campaign. We are here to get to know Dan today, one of our finalists. As you can see, he is dressed and ready for an interview or bartending. His hair, especially, is very ready. And Dan has selected Emily to be his partner in this process and interview him. So
Hello.
thank you, Emily, for joining us.
Of course.
Yes. So I'm just going to shut up now and let Emily run the show. So go ahead.
All right. First, we'll start with some questions. What would you say your biggest strength is as a player?
My biggest strength as a player is to voice act. I'm pretty good at voice acting my characters. Um, Whenever I play with people that doesn't really play like Dungeons and Dragon very often, they tend to use their real voices and not RP as much. And I'm so prevalent into my character, and I voice it in a very like special way that they get inspired by it and find a personality and a special voice for their characters. It brings their characters to the top of their game, and that's one of my biggest strengths. If I had to choose a second strength, I'd say it would be describing actions. um, just attacking someone with, let's say, a mace in a regular campaign doesn't have to just be I'll 1d6 with my mace on X NPC. You can describe how you do it. This guy seems to be running. I'm gonna bust his kneecap by doing a very powerful swing in its in its on its leg to see if like it's gonna slow him down. And like, oh, that's more interesting than just saying, oh, I'm just gonna strike him. Like I like when it's very descriptive, being very creative in combat as well. So I tend to play characters that are very creative by nature.
To follow that, what would you say is something that you would like to work on as a player that you might learn from, participating in this campaign potentially?
I'm a perfectionist, so sometimes people would overlook some rules, and I get a tiny bit frustrated, and I tend to like DM in the back and say like, oh, this X rule, like maybe try to and like sometimes I can irritate some people that just want to do their own stuff. So I try to work on that and be a little more like carefree on this. I got a lot better, especially since my last campaign. I got some complaints about that, and by the end of it, because the old campaign I participated in, they thought that something I worked on. So overall, yeah, that would probably be it.
Yeah. And I mean, if you're striving towards improvement, that's all we can really ask for. So that's awesome to hear. Who would you say between Jack and Bako you are most like and least like, and explain why?
I'd say a little bit of both,
Mhm.
because I'm a very shy person, uh, and I tend not to go around too many people. I have a very like small circle of friends, just like Jack has, and I'm someone that is afraid of how people would judge him. So that like I relate to him, like I relate to Jack on this part of myself.
Mhm.
Bako is the this other side of me, because I'm a very like two-faced person, in the sense that when I'm not shy anymore, like I do crazy stuff, I'm unhinged, and like you meet this different side of me, and some people don't like it. They'd rather just me being this shy guy, but like that's not what I am. And like Bako for Jack is basically this other side of me IRL. So like I can relate to both, because that's how I made them to be.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I don't drink that much IRL. Like
You're
I'm
not a
I'm
party
okay.
animal.
Yeah, not that much. I,
Gotcha.
I I exaggerated this
Responsible,
part.
responsible
Yes.
drinking.
Hmm.
Jack just enables other people. He just enables other people to drink. There you go.
Exactly.
Out of the auditions you've seen, if you were to play in one of their VR worlds, which one do you think you would play in and why?
The one that's the most memorable for me is Callista's VR world, the Renaissance era, because the Renaissance era is my favorite era, and I
Mm.
thought like I could almost like make the exact same like character archetype in the Renaissance era, because like a drunkard, you can make a drunkard like in a medieval era as much as in the modern era or the Renaissance era. It's a very versatile character in terms of like setting an era. I really like the way she made their like her avatar, and she RP'd in the audition, and that's what inspired me to make mine basically.
When playing a campaign, what qualities are you looking for in the other players? Not necessarily their characters, but the players themselves.
Mhm. Uh, Contribution. So I've had campaigns in the past where players aren't really doing that much, and it feels like it's almost a one-on-one session with the DM. And those campaigns I find are the most boring because D&D in general, or any other like tabletop role-playing game platform or systems, you need to have a group that are willing to participate and contribute to the group. That's something that's very important, and that's something I look forward to having the most. I've had groups that had a lot of contribution and participation, which I enjoyed, and I still had fun with the campaigns that didn't have much contribution, and it felt like it was more the DM having like a monologue. But I still had fun nonetheless, like I said. So it's just the thing I look forward the most.
As you said, uh, you're a perfectionist. Um, Even though you identify as a shy person, the way that you carry yourself gives the appearance of somebody who's confident, at least exudes confidence. You're a very eloquent person. You obviously clearly have a lot of experience with tabletop gaming. I really like trying to put players include a good mix of players who both are experienced and also have never played the game before but always wanted to. In addition to players who are shyer, who are quieter, and as you said, may have a more difficult time contributing and might need some help in order to contribute. So my reservation is, if I were to put you in this campaign with those other players, my fear is it might not be a good fit because they might feel intimidated. They might feel like it's hard for them to get themselves into the spotlight because you are such a seemingly confident, experienced person. Given that that is my biggest reservation, what is your response?
Okay, so my response to that, I think it's mostly about listening and letting others perform actions, or asking other players in character or out of characters, both are valid, to if they want to do something. So let's say I would make an interaction, and then I would say, "So what do you think about that?" X person, like let's say their name, and then they would say something, like prompt them to do something in character, or the out of character um like option is also valid. So I think that's the most important part, to try to get other people to interact, and like not always trying to be the center of attention, I think is very important. And I know when I'm speaking too much. I DM some games before, and when you're the DM, you need to talk a lot. But when I'm a player, I know when to stop and when to try to listen to the other players. I think that's the most important part of being someone that contributes a lot, is that you need not to be the only one contributing, and let other people contribute.
Let's say hypothetically, if you had to give your spot up on the campaign and give that spot to another player, another auditioner, actually, which other auditioner would you give that spot to instead of yourself and why?
The person I have the most chemistry with as of lately, outside of Kiwi, because he's the one that brought me to the community, is Eon. And I really, really liked his concept for the VR world and his character. I like very dramatic and dramatic characters that have like a troubled past and that they're trying to get away from something. And the fact that his character is a girl in a wheelchair that's basically trying to get to live her life. I think that has a lot of potential with drama and like actually crying out loud for his character, because that's what I'm looking forward the most. Just like good concepts, and I really like his IRL character.
Jack, you live in Montreal, and it's a big modern city with the VR technology involved. And your bar, like you said, is a very fancy sort of bar. It almost looks like an upscale speakeasy sort of bar, and it has like a brick background, but it's painted with black, so it's very sleek and stylish. There's a black, bar table with only top shelf liqueur, of course, and just very intricate designs and art and architecture in this bar. So you're working at the bar. It's kind of a slow night. And so you're kind of wrapping up, and somebody comes down into the bar, familiar face. It's actually your father.
Hey, um, Dad, how's it going? Why you're back in town? Why are you here?
Listen, I don't. I had a few too many drinks tonight. I'm sorry to just bug you out of the blue like this, but you think you could do your
Don't
old
worry,
man a favor?
don't worry, Dad. I'm getting used to it, but you're still my dad. I'll help you out the best I can.
Thanks, man.
Since he's very drunk,
Hmm.
Jack decides that it would be the best course of action not to let him stay in the bar where he can get even drunker. So I'll walk him outside of the bar
All right, you
with
leave
my
the
father.
bar, and uh,
Get up to my car,
yeah,
get drive him up to my place.
yeah, and as you pull up to your place, he'll kind of look at you, a little guilty, like he's gonna ask you something.
I know these eyes. Shoot it. What is it?
Well, hear me out. There's some sort of like investment opportunity, and I'm a little short of cash right now, but it's supposed to be really good. Like it's for that VR game that you play. Uh, you know how sometimes when people die, they can't come back. Well, this guy says he has the technology to make it so that you can come back. And so, if you just front me a little bit of cash, I
Are
can.
you sure that's legal? That sounds like cheating.
Well, just trying to make an extra buck or two. That's the real way to make money nowadays is playing Vice City.
You're right, Dad. But like, if you ever get caught in this like cheating scheme and you get in trouble, what are you going to do?
I'll figure it out.
You know, I spend a lot of money on this VR tech, and like I'm struggling right now to pay rent because of this. So for now, it's a no, but can you just please wait for my next pay and I'll make sure to help you out, okay? I don't mind investing with you, but
Yeah, but
just
if
just
we
just don't get
invest,
just don't get yourself in trouble,
but
okay?
if we invest now, it will get money like tenfold back. Don't you see the potential here, Jack?
You're right. All right, look. I've got, let's say I just like open my wallet and I look inside my wallet. I'm like, I've got how does $300 sound for now? That's all I can offer.
That's fantastic, and he'll quickly take the money. I promise you'll get this money back, but you know your dad well enough to know that
I give him
might not.
I give him a doubtful look and I say,
Mhm.
just don't get yourself into too much trouble, okay, then?
Of course, of course. Don't worry about me, son. It'll be okay. And so, do you drop him off at your place or
I've got an extra bed, so
cool.
sure thing. I'll and I mean it's not like he's going anywhere. He's probably following me because he's already like on his way to my apartment. So like my
Mm-hmm.
condo. I mean, so like why not at that point?
Yeah. So you guys, eventually head up into your condo and it's super, super neat and clean, nothing out of place. And you even have a room, like an office, special for the VR game that you play.
Hmm.
And your dad will call it an early night, again, thanking you for all the $300 that you gave him. And you kind of look at your wallet and you realize that you're going to be short on rent, so you're going to need to find another way to get some money fast.
Before I decide to head to bed, I will lock the bar counter with with a locker because I don't want him to abuse it,
Hmm.
knowing his habits. So yeah, and then I head to bed um, and think about how I'm going to figure things out.
Yeah. And as you're, heading over to bed, you kind of walk by the VR room and you see the soft blue glow of the screen emanating from the VR technology, and you kind of remember that there is a good way to make money through Vice City.
That's right. So I will step into the VR world to try to figure out a way to make money because that's the quickest way I can think of.
Nice. And so, yeah, the VR like room, it kind of picture like almost like a chair from like the Matrix where you're kind of laying back and you're not plugging in like literally like you do in the Matrix, but you probably put on some sort of helmet and it's more of a neural link that connects you to the VR world. And so your vision changes and you see like a bit of a loading screen and you hear, artificial voice going loading, loading, loading. And
Updating,
eventually
updating.
updating
2 hours later.
updating this patch exactly. Yeah, it's been a little bit since your last escapade, and so you kind of took a bit of a break just bartending, but you know that yeah, you're gonna need some money pretty quickly. So it loads and you see like the opening screen, the Vice City, right? And then it kind of fades and you wake up in your messy apartment and you look different. So why don't you describe Bako a
Okay,
little
so
bit?
Bako is a big muscular panda with some like quite short hair. He is all probably shirtless as he likes to be. He likes to wear some like very like casual pants, either like sweatpants or something that like doesn't something that doesn't strain his waist. Basically, he likes to always have like a belt with an alcohol flask like always strapped to it, just in case he needs it. um, he has a scar on his right cheek that he doesn't want to talk about.
Hmm,
And yeah, that's pretty much how I would describe Bako physically.
nice. Yeah, so you wake up in your messy apartment, and just like the crime MMO that you described, you hear the sounds of police sirens and gunshots and the faint sound of a helicopter flying around in the background. But that's pretty normal for this setting. And as you get up, your head is just pounding, like you have a massive hangover, which is normal for Bako, but you can't really function well with a hangover.
He's
So what do
used
you
to it.
do?
Okay, so I'll wake up and so someone's getting chased down the street again. That is the usual thing. So, oh God, what did I drink last night? I don't even remember what the bartender offered me. That was vile. Ugh. Hmm. Hmm. Guess I should just make myself some coffee then, right? As I head to the kitchen, I make my dear mother's recipe that she taught me at a very young age. And I'll have myself a cup or two just to make it pass. I've got this like massive back scratcher on one of my walls that like whilst I'm drinking, I'm kind of like just kind of like scratching my back over it, just like yes, comfortable. Okay, now
You're ready to start your day, which usually means one thing.
more drinking and more bodying. As usual.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, there's plenty of places for you to go to drink. What kind of establishment would Bako go to drink?
So Bako likes to visit this one place that he always goes to, which is called The Last Drop, where
Nice.
people usually drink their entire bottle, and there are multiple security guards inside to make sure that people aren't, trying to rob the place or commit like party atrocities, like vomiting all over the floor and everything. So they just get kicked out, which usually doesn't really happen that much to Bako because of his natural resistance to alcohol. He, the bartender, knows not to give him anything that's below 50%.
Right.
So
That's
he is
basically
there.
water.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, the bartender will see you and he'll just pull a bottle from like underneath the bar and slam it on the table and slide it over. It's like, here you go. It's not even labeled or anything, but that's kind of the good stuff.
Look, it's gonna do the trick. That's the only thing that matters.
Mm-hmm. You see in the corner of the bar, I know a guy that looks a bit like an Agent Smith face. You feel like you recognize the face, but you're not quite sure from where. But he's sitting out in the corner, kind of in that suit with sunglasses on, even though it's in a dark, dingy bar. And he's kind of looking in your direction, but he's not approaching you at this point.
I kind of look at him and I'm like,
And he'll just give you a nod and kind of
I'll
gesture you to come over.
So I very slowly stand up from where I was sitting, and I make my way to this peculiar individual, being like, "So, I seem to recall you. Have I seen you before?
Maybe.
You remind me of people that I have punched in my way before. People that would tend to tell me not to drink. You know, people of the law.
Oh, I'm no cop. Trust me on that.
Then, as I pull the bottle the bartender gave me, then we will be in good accords. As I start just drinking that thing and almost emptying it out. You know, that reminds me of the last time I drank. I lost control and I saw someone that was trying to get my attention. They were telling me about Schmeezus Christ, and like they told me there were witnesses. I don't remember that much, but I just gave him some of what I had to drink, and they didn't want it. So people sometime, huh? They are boring.
Yes, well, seems like you're feeling pretty drunk now. Now I can finally, and he reaches behind him and pulls out like a file and slides it over on the table. Here's your next contract.
What's this now?
This is an escort mission. I need you to escort this young lady, and he'll point to a picture of a gal. And in this world, there's a mix of like humans and like humanoid animal sort of creatures, and so she kind of looks like a humanoid version of like a mix between Lola Bunny and like what's the other character. But she's a very like attractive looking bunny, essentially. You need to escort this young lady to a ball that is going on, and there might be some shady people there, and we just need you to keep an eye on her.
Ha! Well, Hoochie Mama, she looks really hot now. There. Okay, I'll do it. Sure.
Great, and as usual, you will, once the job is done, you'll get the envelope of cash.
Yeah, whatever. Can you? Will you pay for this? That's all I want.
Already paid for it. Yeah, here's the location. You'll be picking her up just outside the ball. And please don't punch me. Try not to drink too much.
No, I'll just grab him and just give him a big hug. But it's almost strangling him and say, "You're almost like my second father. I will remember you. Maybe." As I let him go and
He kind of
to...
Okay, pushes you off. He's not a touchy-feely guy. And actually, I should mention too, he did also slide over a garment bag because it is a ball, and so it's a very fancy tuxedo, which matches you because you're a panda.
Sure. So, being drunk, I guess I'll just head to the very dirty bathroom that's in this bar, and try not to get any substances on it, if possible. That's either on the floor or on the stalls.
Mm-hmm.
And I will try my best to put this tuxedo on, because I am not used to putting these kinds of clothes, and two, I am very drunk right now, so I try my best to make it look as clean as possible, but I will probably fail.
Yeah. So yeah, you get dressed up, and I'll say you drunkenly make your way over to the outside of a big extravagant building, and you see the woman that you saw in the picture. She's wearing like a floor-length, sleek red dress with a high slit. It doesn't leave too much to the imagination, and she doesn't know who she's looking for, so she's just waiting, kind of crossing her arms impatiently.
I'll make my way to her, and I'll, as I'm 5 meters away from her, I'll just lose my balance and fall on the ground face first.
Sorry, I lost my balance.
As I look forward to her, by just flipping my head forward, I'll look at her and I'll say,
"So, I am your lucky guard for tonight."
There must be some mistake. She lifts you up and down.
No, see, I have this. Where did I contract that I am obligated to escort? Yeah, escort you.
You're intoxicated.
And
they just hire anybody nowadays?
And you're hot.
Well, my name is Anya Quickly, and no funny business. And so you guys will walk into the ballroom.
he'll go back to where the Miss Honey Bunny is, and he will try his hardest to try to offer her a drink. So it would be like, "May I interest your holy beauty to this wonderful drink?" And it's like a bottle that's very dirty, and it's vile. Okay, and it's a bottle that looks almost like the one that the bartender gave me. It's just a flask of the other one, and I filled it in a bottle like I found there, and somehow it's dirty because it's Bako. He doesn't care about it. He doesn't care about it at all.
She like clutches her pearls a little bit, just like absolutely appalled. Like, no drinks, but we should keep up appearances and dance to this.
As I turn around and I see a drink on one of the counters, I just spice it up with what I have. Like,
Now this guy's gonna have a fun time. What else would you like to do?
There's some shady looking figures kind of like closing in on the two of you and Anya. And they seem to be eyeing Anya specifically and giving you a dirty look. And they have 3 sixes on the back of their like tuxedo jackets, and they're wearing like Oni masks.
I look straight at what seems to be the most imposing figures of their lot and say,
I have drank stuff that is more intimidating than you. So, what are you looking at?
Give up the girl. She is the heiress to the Quickly fortune. If you don't know, the Quickly I was thinking of was like the boba tea stores that are all around the country, the US. And so she's the daughter to a very wealthy businessman, Mr. Quickly, and we plan to hold her for ransom to steal the secret recipe to these tapioca pearls. And if you get in our way, we will kill you.
Ah, so wait, that's why I'm guarding her? Interesting. I was only in it for the money and the drinks, so, do you have anything to offer me that's better than what this fine lady has?
You're negotiating with terrorists? My father will hear about this.
I turn around and I look at her and I say,
Do I seem like the kind of person that cares?
How dare you? You know, the group of guys will just say, well, we'll give you cash.
I'll think about no. And as I say no, I kind of like lunge forward and I give the most imposing one. I kind of like just grab him by the lower body and I push him into a wall. With the sheer force of impact, he cracks the wall that's behind him. And after that, I just kind of fumble around. There's a guy punching me, but like as he punches me, he just pushes me on the side, and I fall on one of them, and like it completely crushes him on the ground. It puts him like in a KO state. And as I stand up, I'm like,
So, do you want to be next? Like, I have no problem at all. Like, I don't.
I'd say for some reason that seems to intimidate the rest of the group, and they scram.
Bye. Bring more good stuff next time, or party with us. My mother believes I would be a great coffee shop owner, one to make her proud. But sometimes, life gives you surprises. And you can bet that I am going to bring you plenty of surprises. So choose me, Bako, and I'll spice up your days.